Hello. So if you're like me, things were go, go, go. It was a very busy life, and then all of a sudden, everything slows down. Finally, have some time, check in, remember some priorities. People are reading that they didn't read before. They're spending more time at home with their families. I just wanted to offer something else. I was go, go, go for months, and all I wanted to do was be able to get home so I could, meditate and practice on those spiritual practices and totally guilty of getting caught up in the rat race and all the things going on and not spending time on that. With this quarantine, a lot of us have a lot more time than we used to, and I just wanted to reach out and suggest the idea of meditation for myself personally, and then also to share it because I know some people have never even delved into it. It's just an idea, it's a concept, but I'd like to introduce it as like a practice, as something like you would go to the gym and there's a muscle there that's built, muscle of focus. And the idea of meditation, there's many different kinds. There's not one right way to do it, but the overall goal for most is to withdraw from the five sensory currents, right? Sight, smell, taste, hearing, touch. I think I touched all five. And to focus our attention on the inner realm. So if you can step outside the body, then you get to the mind, right? I think everybody's experienced this. If you've ever been stuck on an airplane, you're not doing much, you're not thinking about your feet and your hands, but you are thinking about, your mind. So the mind is active and you're there with your thoughts. Well, the goal of meditation is then to get to there, but then to withdraw from the mind and then be able to move into past the mind, into the higher realms of consciousness. And there is a door, right? So we have built with a body and systems, but in that programming, they built a side door, which is the third eye. So you can actually exit out. You yourself, your eternal essence, can exit out the third eye and transcend physical body consciousness. And so I just wanted to, throw that out there. Hey, look, everybody's got a lot of time. If ever you've considered meditation, now would be the time. And so I just wanted to offer some simple ways to begin. And so, first of all, there's a lot of things. People do yoga first and get the body in perfect, alignment so that they can sit there and then meditate. And then there's all these things. I used to do martial arts very actively. The idea was to be so hard by the outside that the inside could be soft. But just from, point A to point B, the idea is to settle the body. So you sit in any position that's comfortable for you, where you can, sit without moving. Some people, if you have bad backs, can even lay down. There's not one right position. The reason why you see the traditional yogi pose with the legs crossed is just a position where you could sit there, if you practice it over time, where the columns of the spine stack on each other, so you're not sitting in like a slumped position where after 20 minutes or so you're going to have to move around and put your attention back on the body. That's the really only purpose for it. It's not a magical thing, finger sensory currents, that sort of thing, or it's additional, but really it's just a matter of settling the body so you can get to the mind, and then settling the mind so you can go past that. So a practice that I'd like to recommend would be just sitting in any position that you feel most comfortable. And then the mind is a very active, thing. Just like your heart, you wouldn't tell your heart to stop beating so you can meditate. We don't tell the mind to stop thinking so that we can meditate either. Instead, a suggestion would be to give it something to do. Like if a kid is bored, they could bounce a ball, catch the ball, bounce the ball, catch the ball. So it's active, it's doing something, and it's not going to go throw, recklessly run around the house and throw the ball around. Well, the mind also, if you give it something to think, some words, a mantra to think in repetition, then you can have it doing that. So it's doing its job, just like your heart's going beat, beat, beat. Your mind is thinking love, joy, peace, love, joy, peace. And you're not going to say, that's an offer there. Love, joy, and peace are three great words. You want to have some kind of mantra that you don't have to put too much thought on, but that evokes a feeling of nothingness or calm. Right? And so the idea is not those words, but what you're doing is you're giving yourself a little space in between those words. So in between love and joy is nothing. And it's inside that space that meditation happens. It's in the unseen. The idea is to get it to a place where you can just have that little gap of space so that you can see with your third eye, hear with the inner ear, rather than the sensory currents. So you would close your eyes so that your sight isn't there, and focus your attention on the third eye, which is between and above the eyebrows, right there. And it's inside. So you kind of blankly stare as if you're staring at a movie screen, right? Maybe 8 inches in front of you with your eyes closed, and just kind of waiting. You're not expecting, not creating, just staring with the inner eye. And then, as that's happening, you just wait, and it's the space in between. So love, joy, peace, love, joy, peace. But you don't say it out loud, right? We're not doing sound, so it'll be the inner tongue, right? So. And so the body's still. We're going to send our attention here, staring into the darkness. And the first thing that will come up is you're going to have thoughts come up right away. You're going to get distracted. Something's going to make a noise. Right now my tortoise is walking around making noise, distracted me, right? That's the first thing that happens. And you're going to have other thoughts because the mind is not like this. One thing you'll discover about the mind is it may like the rest to start with, but it wants to be in charge. And you might find right away that your mind has kind of been in charge. It's not you, the conscious thinker, that are having these thoughts saying, what do I want to think about? Okay, I want to think about my lawn and cutting the lawn, and this is what I want to do. No, generally the mind is on its own track, and it's leading us around, right? It's leading us around saying, oh, wait, you forgot the toaster, or you got this and that, and then you follow the whims of this just cyclone of thoughts. That gets us caught up because it's not really an ultimate ending that's going to go anywhere. The mind's job is just for survival. It's protecting the ego. It's protecting our body. It's making sure we're not walking off the cliffs. It's making sure we're not touching things too hot. And that's its job, is to make sure that we're not dying, really. So it protects the body, and then so it's really protecting itself. Okay. So the conscious thinker, you, that's choosing this, you might find right away that it's not easy, because you're wanting to think love, joy, peace, but it's like nagging on your shoulder saying, hey, let's think about this. What about that? What about this? And man, the thoughts will come in, will be good. It'll be like, oh wait, did you remember that, this is happening? And then you might want to have to go address it because it's so important. But the goal is to move past that, say, no, this is what we're doing, and being more of the who's in charge of you, and not just the mind pulling you around, by the coattails. So you might want to set 5 minutes to start with. Can I go 5 minutes of just being able to focus on love, joy, and peace? Right? I'm just now getting back into the practice, so I'm seeing it very easy for me to get distracted. I hear a noise that already distracts me. When in full practice, you should be able to sit in a busy subway and still be able to focus and hear that inner sound and see the inner light, because it's just it's a practice, just like a bodybuilder can walk into a gym and pick up a couple 100 pounds, whereas the same person who wasn't working out previously would hurt themselves trying to do that, or just not be able to accomplish that feat. So there is a muscle there, and that's why I don't think it's not you're going to get it or not get it. It's not a you or that. It's how much are we the master of our own fate, and then how much can we surrender that beyond our own ego and vulnerability. So I encourage you to do that. So we just sit for 5 minutes to start with, and think of any 3 words. I gave you 3 suggestions that you can sit. And then the idea is, how much time can I spend in the space between love and joy, between joy and peace, in which the unseen can become the seen. And yeah, that's it. And then you go further past that. You might transcend. You might see flashes of light, which are real light, right? And you might hear even inner sound. There's celestial sounds, which is quite an amazing experience, and leads you on to like, whoa, what's past that? What's past that? And so you get all the way to the realm of all consciousness. You get back to source energy. You go back home, and another way to say, you step out of the matrix and you see life for what it was, what it is. People have, watched that movie, The Matrix, and that's really quite a good literal, interpretation of what's going on here. Be able to unplug that thing and realize you've been watching a virtual reality here in this physical world, and then there's more truth, there's more reality beyond that in higher realms that you just can't see with the eyes or hear with the ears. Just like our human eyes, we see from red, right? Red's like the lowest vibration, all the way to violet. Anything beyond that is infrared or ultraviolet. We can't see it. It exists. We know it exists. We know cats can see a little bit further over here. Or elephants can hear sounds lower than what we can hear. We know they exist, but we can't measure them because they're not in our instruments. So all of life is existing here, and we get this little bit. We can see red to purple, right? Or red to violet. That's how much we get. But all of this is existing outside of us. So we'd have to step outside of the five sensory system that we have here, this earth suit, in order to actually experience those things. And that's what I'm encouraging. I'm doing it myself today. I've been totally guilty of getting caught in the rat race, and I can tell you the long-term benefits are substantial. When sometimes we'll create the problem, right? We create the problem so that our mind has a solution, and we see that we're up to this game. And then we see ourselves busier and busier, and we feel the same. Life feels the same. Maybe we have more money, maybe we have more something, but we don't have that peace, and we realize, what's it all worth? Right? And so we have those moments, and in those moments I highly encourage that you say, hey, what is there more? And go find it. Go on the journey and go experience what's beyond the five senses. Good luck.